What's up, guys? Rob of Rule of Two Review here, and today Nintendo finally gives us its E3 plans. So, it turns out that today was the day that Nintendo finally revealed its plans for E3 2015. As I stated in my video yesterday where I discussed Nintendo coming out and showing us how they're not going to be discussing other things, such as the Nintendo NX, the Quality of Life program, and also the mobile plans and everything that it's doing with DNA and that partnership. They did, of course, confirm that this morning they were going to finally reveal what those actual plans were for the show, what to expect, a live press conference, a digital event, some sort of combination of the two. And it was confirmed earlier this morning that it is going to be another digital event, which I think is overall exciting news. So I'm really happy to see that for the most part, all of this news is being handled and received very well from most of the gaming public. I think that that's pretty cool. There was part of me that wondered if maybe because they moved from an E3 Nintendo Direct to a specific digital event last year, that this year they were going to move to something a little bit different or a little bit grander, or maybe come back to a press conference. I really actually didn't see the traditional press conference happening this year, but I did see them doing something a little bit different from the digital event. However, it seems like that's not the case. They're doing basically another digital event that's going to cover the beginning 9 o'clock on Tuesday, June 16th. That is going to be their show. They're going to do the same 3 days of live streaming from the Nintendo Treehouse throughout all 3 days of the show floor. And I mean, that is really cool. Don't get me wrong. I am super excited about that. I think that at the end of the day, provided they shake up the format a little bit and still have the same amount of content, that it'll still be a really great show. Hopefully very successful with all the new games and things that we know that they're going to discuss. And I really just think that they still have a chance of knocking it out of the park and having the best show this year. So what is the other big news from today? Well, it's the fact that Nintendo is officially bringing back its Nintendo World Championship, which it was known for in the 90s, which was this great competition that at the time was happening through Blockbuster and other different, kind of video stores and tech stores. I'm willing to bet probably Circuit City or Radio Shack might have been involved at that time. I mean, I'm old enough to have remembered them, and my younger brother actually performed in one, but I just can't remember. He went to a Blockbuster. That much I know for sure. He went to a Blockbuster to be involved with that. Very cool stuff. And it's great that they're bringing that back. It's actually going to be happening on the Sunday before E3, so Sunday, June 14th, that is going to be happening live from Los Angeles. So it's really cool because basically like the start point of E3 related events and information is kind of getting moved up slowly but surely. So, whereas the show floor starts on Tuesday, June 14th, but the first round of conferences are happening on So it's happening June 16th on a Tuesday. The first round of conferences is happening on Monday, June 15th. And now Nintendo has its Nintendo World Championships happening even a day before that on Sunday, June 14th. So that's all really cool. Last year they had the Smash Brothers competition, which turned out to be far better than anyone expected. Way more people involved, a lot of people watching at home online. That was so much fun. I cannot believe how fun that was. And whatever they're going to put together with this Nintendo World Championships, I think that they learned how into that stuff people, gamers, and Nintendo fans are from how last year's Smash Brothers tournament went. And so I think that they're going to really put a lot of effort into this World Championship thing. And however it ends up playing out, I think it's going to be great. We don't know the games list yet, but that's kind of exciting because it means we have that information to look forward to. What games are they going to be playing? It's obviously going to be Smash Brothers. Will Mario Kart get brought into the mix? Maybe Punch-Out. Which, by the way, I'm going to use that Punch-Out thing to segue to this next concept, because Nintendo revealed yesterday via a tweet with a picture of what we thought was probably Reggie underneath, this hoodie and this hood with like a boxing pose and saying who's getting ready for Nintendo's E3 reveal. And a lot of people very understandably thought that that was teasing a Punch-Out reveal. And that would have been really great. Don't get me wrong. I think that would have been really cool. A lot of people were very excited at the idea. People love that series. I, however, am someone who, am not really that into Punch-Out, to tell you the truth, and B, did not think that that was necessarily a sign. I mean, I didn't think that it was impossible, but I wasn't reading into that thinking, oh yeah, they're going to definitely reveal a Punch-Out. I just didn't see it being that way. I actually sort of thought it was going to be exactly what it was, that Nintendo's training to bring it at E3, and that's basically what the video was about. Now, I love Punch-Out. I am old enough to have grown up with the original Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, not the redacted version, which just became Punch-Out. I remember the original game, and I grew up playing that, and I loved it. I actually, Super Punch-Out, I also played a lot. Great game. The Wii Punch-Out, I really wanted to play, and I sadly somehow never got my hands on it. So that's probably one of the reasons I wasn't super excited. So although I'm sad for fans who were hoping that that was going to be revealed, personally, I'm just not bummed about it. I think that that wouldn't have been the best game to kind of bring back and show. I think Nintendo needs to bring heavier hitters and bigger announcements and different kinds of games to really get the mindshare back for Nintendo and its fans. So I'm not glad that it didn't show up, but I'm just certainly not upset. Now, another thing that they did discuss is that throughout the week, there will be 2 different days where we can go to a Best Buy, just like the last 2 years, and go and try out new software. This year, it's only one piece of software, and it's Mario Maker. And so on Wednesday, June 17th, and also the end of the week on that Saturday, which would be, what, the 20th, I think? Those are the 2 days that you can go, and there's like a 3 or 4 hour block. Actually, it might even be a 5-hour block, where you can go into a local Best Buy that's actually doing this. And again, just like the previous years, go in and, sign up, wait in line, and try out Mario Maker. So this is really cool. I think Mario Maker is looking more and more exciting the more that I see it. I think it's going to be a pretty good game, especially if it's reasonably priced. However, this isn't exciting to me, I don't think, not as far as like an in-person Best Buy sort of E3 experience. I mean, it's great that they're doing something, so I certainly am not going to like complain about it, but I just think that it's an odd choice to make it Mario Maker. I mean, I think something like, so the Splatoon already had its test fire. I think that if they show Star Fox would be a great game to bring to people. Xenoblade would be a great game. Yoshi's Woolly World, or even a combination of these games like they did the first year. I'm really shocked that with those kinds of games in the horizon, that it's Mario Maker of all things that they're showing. But, the game's going to be good. Like I said, I'm not disappointed in the game itself. I'm just kind of disappointed that it's only that game. However, it's still worthy of note, and if you are into this, again, you can go and try it out at your local Best Buy on Wednesday or that following Saturday after E3 is concluded. So last but not least, it certainly makes sense to discuss what is probably going to be happening at the show this year. Since we know that they are doing another digital event, and it seems like it's the same overall structure and format that it was last year, it stands to reason that we probably have a pretty good idea of what to expect. What's going to be interesting to see is exactly how much content they're going to bring. Last year, the show was about 45 minutes long, which was great. It was a phenomenal show. They stuck with the humor side of things with all the Robot Chicken stuff. And I'm willing to bet they're going to do something similar this year. So I'm really excited to see how that plays out. They had some very well put together kind of movies and fun things, interviews with developers. The reveal trailer for this year's E3 plans was very similar to last year in how it was also a very directed, staged, scripted, funny sort of reveal. It was a couple-minute long video. It was really pretty cool to see. And since they're kind of going with that same humor and that kind of irreverent humor that's sort of celebrating Nintendo's history and past, I feel like, whether or not they do Robot Chicken again remains to be seen. I don't think they'll do that again. But I think that they'll have some other hopefully cool creative spin on how they're presenting the show. Now, we know that they're focusing only on 2015 games for the Wii U and the 3DS. We're all hoping for more Wii U games and 3DS games this year. We know that we're going to hear from Xenoblade. We know we're going to hear from Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, Fatal Frame, Yoshi's Woolly World, Mario Maker, stuff like this. Oh, Star Fox is going to be huge. But Devil's Third, we better hear from Devil's Third, and I'm sure we will. But we also know that there's going to be new games. And Iwata just yesterday or the day before actually confirmed that there are surprise games still to be announced by Nintendo that will show up before the end of their fiscal year, which is in March next year. That means this whole back half of the year still takes up most of that time. What will they show? We know we're going to get surprises. What I'm really hoping for is that this is a longer show. As much as I loved the digital event last year, loved it, it was too short. Honestly, 45 minutes to me wasn't enough time. And I think that if they spend an hour and a half with this great presentation and all these games and interviews and surprises and reveals and trailers, Jesus Christ, just forget about it. It will be amazing. It needs to be this long. They need to show that they have an hour and a half's worth of content coming to the Wii U and to Nintendo platforms for gamers and Nintendo fans. I think that is incredibly important, so I'm really crossing my fingers that they have a fantastic and super packed full show planned for us at E3. This is the time to shine. Like I said in my video yesterday, I'm glad the NX isn't going to be there. I'm glad that they're not talking about the mobile plans. That stuff is very important, but not now. Not at E3. E3, they need to have an hour and a half's worth of games. Just games. That's all you need to show us. Show us Metroid. Show us F-Zero. Show us Animal Crossing. Show us some third-party stuff. Maybe we can see that a Destiny is coming, or maybe Battlefront 3 is coming, or a different Star Wars game. Maybe Mass Effect 4 is going to come since we got Mass Effect 3 on the Wii U. I mean, all sorts of things. It's definitely time for third parties to come back. Maybe, for all we know, Ubisoft has quietly pulled its head out of its ass. I sort of have a small, tiny inkling and glimmer of hope that that could be true. And so show us what else is coming. Maybe some other great games, you know. I really hope we don't see shovelware stuff. I don't want to see Just Dance. You know, we all want to see real games. And Nintendo, man, they've been slowly wisening up, and I think that they understand what's meant to be shown at E3. It's why they're not talking about quality of life and mobile stuff. And I think that they're going to bring it. I think we're going to hear about all those games I named at first: Xenoblade, Devil's Third, Fatal Frame, Yoshi's Woolly World. We're going to hear from all that stuff, and it's going to be great. But will we get the Metroid surprise? Will we get an F-Zero surprise, or Animal Crossing, like I said? Will we get another new IP? Splatoon is this year. Maybe we get another new IP. Obviously, we're going to hear a lot more about Amiibo, man. I forgot to bring that up the other day. We're definitely going to hear about Amiibo, so prepare for that. And I love Amiibos. I've got like 11 or 12, and I do like the ones that I have, but I'm over the craze, and I just want to get the ones that I care about. Like, I want Zero Suit Samus, and that's probably the last one I'm ever going to care about. Well, unless a Star Fox line or a Metroid line comes out, and then Nintendo, you've got all my money again. So, but, you know, we're definitely going to hear from Amiibo. You know, and obviously Star Fox is going to be the big thing. You know, I cannot wait to hear about Star Fox this year. I think that it's going to be the flagship title, you know. Also, I do have to say one more prediction. I think we're going to hear a lot more about DLC. You know, for better or worse, everyone can kind of take their own opinion and spin on that. But I think that we will hear about more DLC for Splatoon down the road, more DLC for Xenoblade, which we know exists. Star Fox, maybe that's going to have DLC. Yoshi's Woolly World, that's a game I could see with DLC. Mario Maker, totally could see DLC there. So I think that some DLC plans are going to be happening. Will Nintendo continue to do it, you know, the best that they've been doing it so far? I think so, but you never know. So we're going to go into that with a little bit of trepidation. I think that that's the most fair and just way to do it, because the last thing we want is for all of a sudden Zelda to come out and for the Master Sword to be a freaking microtransaction. You know, I don't ever think that would happen, but we still got to keep our guard up and make sure Nintendo knows that that's not the kind of shit that they need to do. That's the bullshit that the other, you know, crappy third-party companies are doing. We know that Nintendo is better than that. So if they talk about DLC a lot, which I do think they will, I can't imagine we're going to hear about those kinds of issues. And it's hopefully going to be really quality stuff. So, yeah, I mean, that's really it. I just hope that it's a long, thorough presentation with a lot of content. Yes, we want to see some 3DS stuff, but man, Nintendo needs to bring it with the Wii U this year, and I think that they're going to. Every game that I've talked about today has been a Wii U game, and when we talk about a new F-Zero or a Metroid, it's a Wii U game that we're thinking of, so we need to really hope that that's what happens, you know. I don't know. Those are my thoughts, man. What do you guys think? What do you think about this reveal and this news? Like I said, everyone seems to be receiving it very positively, which makes me quite happy. I think it's pretty great. I would have liked something a little bit more different, maybe another idea building on the digital event concept. But at the end of the day, like I said, if it's great and they have a lot of content and games to show us and surprises and we're all excited, then who cares, man? If it's a great hour and a half presentation, then it's a great hour and a half presentation. That's all that matters. So what do you guys think? Thanks for tuning in. This, of course, is Rule of Two Review. If you're new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe, like, rate, comment, you know, share those thoughts about Nintendo and E3 and all this kind of stuff below. Thanks for tuning in. I will catch you guys next time on another video for Rule of Two Review.